everyone, I'm Lee.
And I'm Disha.
Today we will be walking you through 1910 to 1919 in Canada. Introducing prime ministers, explaining French-American-Canadian relations, political movements, the economy, international peacekeeping and friendships, entertainment of the 1910s, and some of the inventions. Let's get started.
Prime Ministers of Canada during the decade of 1910 to 1919. Wilfrid Laurier, Prime Minister of 1896 to 1911. Sir Wilfrid Laurier, Canada's first French-Canadian Prime Minister, was leader of the opposition during the First World War. Robert Borden, Prime Minister of 1917 to 1921. Sir Robert Leonard Borden was a Canadian lawyer and politician who served as the 8th Prime Minister of Canada from 1911 to 1920. He was known for his leadership of Canada during the World War.
Canada faced international tensions between its English and French-speaking populations, particularly during World War I. The issue of conscription in 1917 was a major flashpoint. While many English Canadians supported conscription to improve the war effort, many French Canadians, who felt less connected to the British Empire, opposed it with passion. This division worsened the existing cultural and political rifts, leading to widespread unrest and protests in Quebec. Prime Minister Robert Borden's government, largely backed by English Canadians, pushed conscription through, resulting in strained relations within the country that would then echo for decades. On the international stage, Canadian-American relations during this decade were largely defined by cooperation and mutual support, especially as both nations found themselves allies in World War I. The close geographical and economic ties between Canada and the United States fostered a collaborative friendship. This era also saw the beginnings of more formalized, deeper relations, as Canada sought to find its own identity separate from the British's, later leading to the establishment of first. This era also saw the beginnings of more formalized, deeper relations, as Canada sought to find its own identity separate from the British's, later leading to the establishment of the first Canadian diplomatic office in Washington, D.C., another decade later. Overall, the decade of 1910 to 1919 was one of both conflict and cooperation. Domestically, Canada engaged with deep-seated cultural differences, while internationally, it strengthened its ties with the United States. These dynamics would shape Canada's national identity and its role on the world stage in the years to come.
During the period from 1910 to 1919, Canada was led by two notable prime ministers, Sir Wilfrid Laurier and Sir Robert Borden. Each prime minister made significant decisions that shaped the country's political landscape during this time. Laurier's government focused on fostering national unity and promoting economic growth. In 1911, Sir Robert Borden succeeded as Prime Minister and led the country through the remaining years of the First World War. one of Leonard's key decisions was the implementation of national policy, which aimed to protect Canadian industries through high tariffs on imported goods. This policy helped stimulate economic growth and industrialization in Canada. Another notable decision made by Leonard was his approach to the issue of conscription during the First World War. In 1917, faced with a shortage of troops, Leonard introduced the Military Service Act, which required compulsory military service for Canadian men. This decision, however, sparked significant controversy and divided the country along linguistic and regional lines, as many French Canadians and farmers opposed conscription. Their policies and acts influenced economic development, national unity, and Canada's role in the globe. Borden's government played a critical role in mobilizing Canadian resources and troops to support the war effort. One of his most significant decisions was the introduction of conscription in 1917, which was a controversial move that deepened divisions within Canadian societies. Borden also played a key role in the Paris Peace Conference in 1919, where he advocated for Canada to have a separate seat and voice at the negotiation table. This marked a significant step towards Canada asserting itself as an independent nation on the international stage. Overall, the decisions made by Prime Minister Sir Wilfrid Leonard and Sir Robert Borden during the period from 1910 to 1919 had a lasting impact on Canada.
The 1910s was a period of evolution of Canadian identity, marked by developments in sports, entertainment, literature, and exposure of notable celebrities, such as Alexis Contant, Canadian pianist, composer, and musical educator, Joseph Vizina, orchestral conductor and composer, and Jules Brazil, songwriter, composer, and music teacher. During this decade, Canada was in its throes of defining itself as a nation distinct from the British roots while also navigating the impasse of Ottawa. In sports, the 1910s saw Canada begin to solidify its reputation as a hockey powerhouse. The National Hockey Association, NHA, a precursor to National Hockey League, NHL, was established in 1910, laying the groundwork for professional hockey in Canada. The Stanley Cup, which had already become a symbol of hockey supremacy, saw intense competition among Canadian teams, further fostering a sense of national pride and unity. Additionally, the first Grey Cup game, which would become Canada's premier football championship, was played in 1909. Canada was still a relatively young nation, having only gained the status of self-governing dominance within the British Empire in 1867. However, the nation's involvement in global affairs, particularly through the presence in peacekeeping and participation in World War I. During World War I, Canada was thrust into the forefront of international conflicts. As part of the British Empire, Canada, automatically found itself at war when Britain declared war on Germany in 1914. Over 600,000 Canadians enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force, a significant number given the country's population at the time. Canadian troops played crucial roles in major battles, including the Second Battle of Ypres in Belgium, the Battle of Somme in France, and the Battle of the Meuse. The latter is often credited with forging a sense of national identity and pride, as Canadian forces achieved a significant and strategic victory. The sacrifices and valor demonstrated by Canadian soldiers on the battlefields of Europe helped to establish Canadians' reputation as a formidable and reliable ally. Beyond its military contributions, Canada's involvement in post-war peace process further solidified its standing in the international community. In 1919, Canada was granted a separate seat in the Paris Peace Conference, a recognition of its contribution to the war effort and a step forward greater independence from Britain. Canada was also a founding member of the League of Nations, an intergovernmental organization aimed at maintaining world peace and preventing future conflicts. Although the League ultimately failed to prevent another world war, Canada's participation signaled its commitment to international cooperation and peacekeeping. During this decade, Canada was in its throes of defining itself as a nation distinct from the British roots while also navigating the impacts of World War I. During this decade, Canada was in its throes of defining itself as a nation distinct from the British roots while also navigating the impacts of World War I. In sports, the 1910s saw Canada began to solidify its reputation as a hockey powerhouse. The National Hockey Association, NHA, a precursor to National Hockey League, NHL, was established in 1910, laying the groundwork for professional hockey in Canada. The Stanley Cup, which had already become a symbol of hockey supremacy, saw intense competition among Canadian teams, further fostering a sense of national pride and unity. Additionally, the first Grey Cup game, which would become Canada's premier football championship, was played in 1909. The realm of entertainment and literature also flourished during this period. Canadian theatre saw the rise of the Hart House Theatre in Toronto, established in 1919, which would go on to become a crucial platform for Canadian performers. Literature experienced the surge of authors like Lucy Maud Montgomery, whose Anne of Green Gables series captivated readers worldwide, showcased Canadian life and landscapes. Mary Pickford, born in Toronto, rose to international fame as an experienced actress and film producer, earning the nickname America's Sweetheart while remaining a proud. Her success in Hollywood highlighted the potential for Canadians to make contributions to global entertainment.
From the decade 1910 to 1919, Canada witnessed significant achievements in technology, and Canadian investors made noticeable contributions to various fields. These inventions were often promoted through advertisements showcasing their integrity and innovations of Canadian investors. One of the major inventions during this time was the snowmobile, created by Joseph Amard Bombardier, a Canadian investor and entrepreneur. Developed the first practical snowmobile in 1917. His invention revolutionized transportation in snowy regions, enabling people to travel easily over snow-covered terrains. Advertisements for the snowmobile highlighted its ability to overcome winter obstacles and provide a solution for efficient transportation in harsh winter weather conditions. Another predominant invention from this era was the alkaline battery, developed by Louis Urey, a Canadian engineer, invented the first long-lasting alkaline battery in 1954, but his work on the battery technology began in the early 1910s. Advertisements for alkaline batteries emphasized their superior performance and longer lifespan compared to other battery types. These advertisements targeted consumers in need of power sources for various devices, such as flashlights, radios, and early technological appliances. Additionally, during this period, Reginald Fessenden, a Canadian inventor, made significant advancements in wireless communication technology. Fessenden successfully transmitted voice and music over distance using radio waves. Advertisements for Fessenden's wireless communication technology highlighted its potential for long-distance communication, revolutionizing telecommunication systems and connecting people across vast distances. In 1919, John McCurdy, a Canadian aviator, successfully flew the Silver Dart, the first powered aircraft in Canada. Advertisements for this achievement showcased the progress made in aviation technology and the potential for air travel to transform transportation in the future. Overall, Canadian inventors during the period from 1910 to 1919 introduced significant technological advancements. Advertisements played a critical role in promoting these inventions. The advertisements not only highlighted the practical benefits of these inventions, but also showcased Canada's innovations and contributions to the global technological landscape.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Thank you so much, Letitia, for joining me in this project. It's been a pleasure working with you. Authors, websites, graphs used or referenced to will be pinned in the comments.